do believe we've worked things out for Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, where the only round that will be missing this season for the broadcast will be round number 7 at Road Atlanta. Hello, Brendan Kennedy out in the YouTube chat. Good to see you this evening.
Oh, that's hilarious.
As always. And
what I was talking about there is they make you be in a.
This is one of the dumbest rules I think I've ever seen.
And our starting grid this evening, as we
got you have to be in a quiet room where you're forced to be microphone muted, where we cannot use Discord. So right now we're using iRacing for voice chat, so we'll just have to download TeamSpeak next time. But during a race, the broadcaster hopefully doesn't pull us up into to take a whatchamacallit during the race while we're sitting here racing. I mean, it would make sense on ovals, but not on road racing.
Starting grid graphic. So work with us here, but Jacob Elliott will be starting.
I got my Discord hard muted anyway, so even if I do, I can't hear him.
You have 2 additional sets of tires for this race. Be smooth and have a good run.
Try and work pieces out. So Jacob Elliott will be starting from, the 7th position. I believe we have 6 Super Late models, so Elliott will be starting from 7th technically, although he'll be sent to the rear as well. Kevin McCann.
Is it going to be 2 pit stops?
8th spot. Then, of course, Steve Singer, Brian McCann, and Mark Thomas, your next late model stop qualifiers. Jason Duckworth, a super late model, will still be starting with the supers, as he will actually take over technically the provisional pole position. As Zach Millett will have to start from the pit lane.
Hey, Nathan. Kevin is quicker, but
back here for the late model stock, Spencer Torrance, of course, along with
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something.
Joe Tucker will join the super late model grid.
Get ready.
And Mark Truxell.
Damn, we're going green right here? Holy shit.
Round out our grid.
I thought we had to do a whole base lap.
But bear with me. I guarantee it'll make more sense as we get racing.
Scratch the whole fuel thing there.
Circuit Jules Villeneuve. 30 laps the distance for us, and into the restart zone already for Johnny Rapp and Jason Duckworth. Waiting.
Can I pass before the start-finish line? Oh, I'm not liking this. I'm backing off.
Front stretch from the wall of champions, but green flag is in the air in Canada.
We're both going to be sitting here quiet the whole time, so I don't know.
Green flag for late model stock.
Kevin wrecks more, if you consider that entertainment.
McCann, rather. And Kevin McCann deep into turn 1. He takes over the top spot. Johnny Rapp side by side with Duckworth. He'll take over the top position in super late models.
This is my 3rd time loading into a session of this track. I had a bot last week, so I really don't know the track. My first race ever on it.
They get it sorted out, and already Jacob Elliott up to the 8th position in class after a start from the rear of the field for winning at Lime Rock Park.
That's Singer in front of me. He changed his paint job.
Johnny Rapp, Jason Duckworth, Spencer Torrance into turns 8 and 9. It's been a long day, I got to tell you what. But Spencer Torrance on the back end here of Jason Duckworth, lap number 1. Let's go on board with car number 10.
Ooh, Derek coming out with the heavy hitters.
10 in deep on the inside, trying to make this pass stick, and it will. Big move there. From driver number 10 and his first start in the
Kevin got a foot cam, so I had to pull out my vacuum cleaner and dust off my pedal so I can turn on my foot cam.
And already the driver who started from the pit lane is working up to Jacob Elliott, who of course started from the rear of this field. And this is going to get hairy quickly.
That curb.
To go. He's going to try 3. Nope.
It's hard to see it when you're following somebody.
And that is deep in world champions. Whoa, Jake Elliott moved over in the braking zone on Truxell. That was scary big time. Lap 1 complete here at Montreal without incident as we have a lead change. Spencer,
that's what I'm saying.
Turns 1 and 2 goes right on by Johnny Rapp for the lead.
To make matters worse, as I'm about to go get his go-kart here before too long, I'm waiting on a vertical kart stand so I can set mine up in the garage. I ain't got room. So after I go get his, I'll have 3 go-karts in my garage.
10 on the inside, sets himself up perfectly for turn 1. And that just allows Johnny Rapp to overshoot the corner and then lock up in turn 2, and easily, just like that, Spencer Torrance takes over the top position.
This would not go away there.
That's a tough corner when you can't see where to brake.
From Steve Singer, Brian McCann follows him up in third spot. Gray Radford joins us from 4th position in the 94 car. Let's not forget Mark Thomas, Jacob Elliott, Mark Truxell, that bunch. And that, of course, is where we find...
One thing we did learn with Kevin's go-kart, his motor, I don't know if it's just being new, not broken in real good yet. His motor was underpowered because I ran his motor and could tell a big difference. And then my motor, shoot, what, 3 years or more?
We're all in a bit of trouble there for Jacob Elliott. Loose out of turn 10, spun the tires, and I think Millet's going to have a good shot at him by the time they get to Wall of Champions. Yes, sure enough, there goes the 350.
Little brake bias adjustment there, and my rear's locked up.
Superior motor in this super late model definitely makes a difference. And purple time there from Spencer Torrance, taking over the race lead. And
I don't expect to do good on this race.
Outdone though here by Zach Millet to the line. R315, does he go any faster as there's a slow Troy Radford?
The guy that had got the end of the line for winning last week, he's super fast.
Odd place for the 94 car to be so slow, but we'll take a look here as to what might have happened for the 94. Maybe some corner cut, hard to say.
Yeah, we had
front stretch and lets a lot of time go.
Damn, I can't think of his name while I'm racing.
Thomas, here comes Zach Millet.
Dwayne. We had Dwayne do that on the new motor.
Live has allowed Jacob Elliott to go by as well.
Craver, yeah. I think his first name's Dwayne. I don't know.
Got a slow car already.
Oh, we reckon.
We have a car stopped on the left.
We got a pile up.
Right.
Actually,
got one on your left.
Struggling. I guess it's Joe Tucker on the nose.
Right.
That's a super 2. I'm gonna get outrun here.
Big issues.
Oh, he's letting off for me.
So
This is gonna be not good for me.
and that drops him from 2nd to 8th overall. Now trying to get back by Brian McCann.
He's gonna be slow in the turns.
And he's going to have a run on.
That's gonna allow them to get a lead on me here.
Champions, but we'll stay in behind. A lot just occurred. We keep having these moments where a lot is going on, and we'll take a look here for Johnny Rapp.
Of course, they could wreck each other up there.
Into turn 10, trying to defend over the 73 of Duckworth, and Rapp just gets in deep to turn 10.
Oh man, holding me up.
Rear gets hit a bit right there by the 73. Roberts goes by the 13 of Joe Tucker. Ran himself clean into the outside wall all by his lonesome. And that is a big issue for the 13 car, who is on the nose, by the way, of Kevin McCann.
Joe Tucker, yeah, that's him coming up on me. He's gonna win the whole race.
Really threw me off the fact that our late model stock cars were running.
Can't nobody touch him.
Super late models really caught me last
on this track at least.
It's Tucker hangs it out there out of turns 3 and 4. Steve Singer a little bit sideways there out of turn 7. And already you can see Kevin McCann starting to put some pressure again on the super late models, reeling in Jason Duckworth. Meanwhile, our race leader has checked out by 6 seconds nearly. Spencer Torrance doing a beautiful job in BrezCoffeeCo.com.
What's fuel looking like here? It's going to be a 2-stop, isn't it?
Sean Roberts out of the hairpin at turn 10, and a pass maybe as Zach Millet will finally improve his position in class and gets by Joe.
Yeah, they got a lot more horsepower.
Reigns Mark Thomas along with him, but not for long. Thomas beating a straight line.
I think they're heavier, so they're slower in the turns.
That one happened.
But they murder us on the straightaway.
Zach Millet now through to 5th place. He is chasing down Johnny Rapp. There's a 3-second gap currently as Rapp follows up Kevin McCann, Steve Singer, and Brian McCann. Now, from a little bit off today, I do apologize. I've just spent the sun in 116 degrees.
I don't know how to save.
And Johnny Rapp goes for a spin.
And I don't have my ignition button bound to the steering wheel.
Get it done there. 3 days in the sun in North Carolina.
I mean, how slow? I don't know how slow I need to be
In the morning
to save enough and to still be faster than a pit stop.
For IFAF flag football and the Run flag football tournaments. It's been a lot of fun, just taking a lot out of it.
Yeah, on lap 5.
Had to get back in time for this show. Could not miss this.
They're not saving, so I'm not too worried about it. If I can pull a podium here, that's wonderful. I'm a points leader, so as long as I don't like wreck, I'll be all right.
Johnny Rapp is now last in Super Late Model after starting first. Effectively.
Joe Tucker. Maybe, no, it's Jacob Elliott. That's the fast guy. 7 seconds behind me.
Once again, down the long casino straightaway to the wall of champions. Still on board with Brian McCann. Check out the speeds these cars turn into this final set of quarters. 141, 145, 6, 7, 148 into turn 13.
True.
Turns 12 and 13 rather, and the curving can get a little bit scary.
That was your fastest lap of the session. Faster car coming up quick.
Spencer Torrance has now cleared Sean Roberts by 7.5 seconds as Zach Millett goes fastest. Of course, a pit stop looms for each of these drivers. Maybe even 2 for the super late models. There's Sean Roberts through turns 3 and 4. Jason Duckworth as well. Then Kevin McCann, Steve Singer, Brian McCann.
That's not good.
Zach Millett is working his way through this field diligently.
I think it was just body work.
Overall, here's the onboard and the drop
Maybe not.
perspective.
Ooh.
Mounted within the helmet.
I think do we have a quick repair? Yeah, we got a quick repair.
Down to the 7th position.
Faster car coming up quick.
And this puts him 14 seconds behind Spencer Torrance, the race leader.
That's Millett behind me.
Problem, Sean Roberts around right in front of Zach Millett and others. That is out of turns 8 and 9. And that gives Millett another spot in class. This is the one thing these drivers can't do.
Oh, I hit him.
Is make mistakes.
Good thing I didn't spin him.
3 spots, free time, right back to Zach Millett. You've got the handicap over him. Go ahead and take it. You can't.
I think that may have gave me damage.
I know it's a tough car, so whoa, that's also a really bad recon. That is on the apex of the corner. That is a severe.
That'll hurt my ego.
Got one on your right.
Thankfully, there was no contact there. They had a bit of time to be able to see what was happening and get by it. But
the leader just did a 1 minute 44.49.
Because I've lost a lot of time.
Must be counting on.
That's what I'm thinking. I didn't hit that hard.
This evening, unless he's pitting for incidents, but yeah, that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So Steve Singer into his box very early. It'll be gas and go for car 6. Joe Tucker is going to join him as well. This one I mean,
it drives fine, but I'm slow.
I'd imagine this will be short off for a
got
pit
one
stop.
on your left. All clear, all clear.
Singer 9.32 seconds in box. A very interesting move for the 6 car. That's going to bring him all the way down to
3.8 seconds. How did that mess me up that much?
Is finally passed up by Kevin McCann in the late model stock. But that's not done just yet as Zach Millett approaches. And Millett hard in the braking zone for turns 8 and 9. Duckworth actually sits back to race him a little bit. And sure enough, there goes Millett right on by the 73 car of Duckworth in the short straightaway. Up to turn number 10. And Millett now is within 14 seconds, just barely within 14 seconds.
A 146. Wow. That little bit of damage is worth like 3 seconds.
Sorry, Sean.
Right on by Kevin McCann. So Zach Millett is now 2nd overall. And we are simply tracking his progress now from this point forward.
I would have never thought.
Spencer Torrance. And you know what? These supers are getting real finicky through the corners. The late model stocks are faster in center, but the supers have all the power on corner exit. It's like Prototypes with less downforce. What a weird dynamic. I love this, though. Sean Roberts, Brian McCann, they were close for a moment. Roberts now losing time to Brian McCann. Jake Elliott and there in the 7th spot overall. Mark Thomas hanging out in 8th. Johnny Rapp in 9th. Trey Radford will join us in the 10th position currently, ahead of Steve Singer by about 6.5 seconds. Then you'll find Mark Truxell in the 12th position. And Joe Tucker, by the way, who just pitted as well.
Wait, I'm catching them.
In the 16th.
Let's not jump to conclusions here.
Overall.
I just got to deal with traffic more than they do. Because this lap right here is going to be a 1:43.8
second pit stop.
Or better.
Spencer Torrance, another lap complete as he heads out of turn 10.
Man, them cars just cannot get on the throttle.
5-second gap back to Zach Millett. Call it 14 now as they head into turn 10. And let's just watch this gap and see how it changes over the next.
Where does Steve go?
Next bit of racing.
Does Steve wreck?
Of course, started from the pit lane, that put him behind Mark by quite a bit. But Spencer Torrance has been quite speedy this evening. Last lap time for Torrance was faster than Millett's last lap time.
Oh, I don't know about him, but I did.
That was your fastest lap of the session.
Well, it ain't damaged if that's my fastest lap.
And I say that, and Zach Millett pulls a half second. Zach Millett's last lap, a 1:42.527. Spencer Torrance's last lap, a 1:43.021. Question is that enough to make up the difference? If Spencer's able to hold that to a half second
thinking about tires.
each lap, it would take Zach Millett 26 more laps to catch up.
I'm not.
If somehow Spencer's able to hold it to just that kind of margin each and every lap.
Oh, yeah. There ain't nothing I got to do. What can I do?
It's going to be very close, though, especially as Zach Millett's advantage, I think, grows as this race goes on and these tires wear out. We're going to learn a whole lot about these drivers.
All right.
Very, very soon. These two in particular.
Got one on your left. Clear on the left. Car on your left.
Slowly there through turn number 10, and Zach Millett.
Do I do that now?
While he sets chase
all clear.
On our race leader with Spencer Torrance, we're going to go Pit Stop TV side by side this evening from.
Let's be lap 10.
There are some great battles actually happening in the background that we'll take.
All right, I'm doing it.
As Jason Duckworth passes Brian McCann, and here goes Sean Roberts on by Mark Thomas. And now we'll go Pit Stop TV side by side for the first time this evening.
Lost time there, but
just a few.
Jacob's behind me. Damn, he gained on me.
Pit box in.
Well, we knew he was the winner anyway.
5.
No tires.
3,
I don't want tires.
2, 1. Right here. That's it. Go.
Yeah, I like it. Since I ran my fastest lap there, I didn't take a quick repair just in case. I'd rather save it in case I really do cream the wall real bad.
Did you take tires?
Negative. Jacob did not either. We were getting held up by that super. We had to.
Gotcha.
I followed him for like 2 or 3 laps. All right.
The car in front is pitting.
Damn, he kills me in that turn. That's where I'm losing time at. Wow. Gets me there too. Oh, that was a horrible turn.
The leader is pitting now.
Yeah, I'm trying not to. Cause I mean, if I screw up entry, it screws him up too. He's got to get a exit run on me, which he could possibly do right here. I think anywhere he's going to pass it'd be right here. He's so much faster on exit. I was a little bit better that time.
The car in front is pitting. That was your fastest lap of the session.
Welcome back to the virtual Montreal.
Oh, it bogged down hard there. Is he in first?
A legendary circuit that is borderline road course and street course all in one, and of course it's entertained NASCAR, Formula One, and so many other great series in its history.
I take all the curb.
We rejoin you on lap 12 of 30 after a brief side.
How in the hell?
One on your left.
Couple of laps past, and I want to remind everybody of where we stand with our points coming into this evening. Zach Millett, the points leader.
He held it wide open through there. I don't think I can do that.
He's doing it by 108 points already over Sean Roberts and Jason Duckworth. Add in a new player, by the way, to this super late model field.
Oh, well, I ain't too mad.
So he was on a ripper of a race. He might not be able to keep the lap time that he needs over Zach Millett, but I tell you what, he is doing a fantastic job of trying. He is giving up now a second lap, it looks like, to the number 315, but he is going to put up one heck of a fight over Zach Millett for the race win this evening. Meanwhile, in late model stock car racing, Mark Thomas has taken over the race lead briefly, but Steve Singer currently sits in the race lead as they run after
got one on your right.
Mark Thomas simply has not yet pitted.
I should just let him go.
They left.
That's your point standings. Let's get back down trackside and take.
This is camera time, though.
All clear.
Hopefully.
This race in the Brez Coffee Company number 10.
The leader is
coming through
now.
Turns 6 and 7. Now he is yet to pit as we near lap 15. And we've seen, for the most part, 2 pit stops for the Supers each and every race so far. But the late model stock cars have been holding to 1 pit stop more often than not. That seems to be the opposite this evening, as the Supers are looks like going for total runs, and the late model stocks are going for 3, which would of course be 2 pit stops.
Oh yeah, he did it.
On the racetrack, there's Logan Spencer Torrance. How about Jason Duckworth?
He did that one too.
In the 3rd spot, Sean Roberts in 4th, Johnny Rapp in 5th. Overall and now in class, none of those.
He's got big damage.
No super late model driver has yet to pit aside from Joe Tucker 5 laps ago.
We're allowing Kevin to have this one.
Steve Singer now takes over the race lead in late model stock racing, going by Mark Thomas, who pitted this last time through. And when you look at pit times, Singer at a 9.32, the quickest pit.
Probably not a smart move to race him this hard, but.
And checks in at an 11.85. Gave up.
Tis fun.
This way. Jacob Elliott at a 10.88. And Brian McCann at a 10.6. These two have been racing tooth and nail since the since they left the pit lane, and you can see it has taken an effect. Taken a lot of an effect on the 07 car of Jake Elliott. That's recent damage as well. We were taking a look at the 07 a lot through that side-by-side break, and we just found the reason, actually. Let's back up one more time and show off why this happened.
Oh, he chews both curbs up.
Elliott had already passed McCann, but take a look at this. This is into turns 3 and 4, sun brightly in his eyes, and Elliott through turn 3 looks pretty good. Through turn 4 carries too much speed. Ow, right in the wall.
Has taken the lead.
And about knocked the right side off of that car. Got it again there in turn 5. And that is why Elliott now has got all of this right side damage. 2 hits in very fast succession to one another. And Jacob Elliott suddenly has all of that right side damage. Spencer Torrence, meanwhile, is down to an 8-second lead over Zach Millett and closing as they're both in the same piece of racetrack. And there goes the 88 car of Eddie Rose, the outside lane to give way. Eric Beadle, by the way, also.
Bet he's glad to get away from me.
No retirements yet from this race, and I just want to commend all these drivers. I know this is a tough combo. This is a very tough race car to get around road courses, especially in the late model stock. I'm sorry, especially in the super late model, but a quick mention to all of you drivers this evening that are staying in these cars and giving it your all. It is super, super appreciated by us here at Pit Stop TV to have drivers.
Jacob is fast,
pit lane this time.
arguably faster than me and Kevin, but he missed a race, so he's a little down on points. And I don't know if we have a drop week or not.
And this could be a little.
So if we don't have a drop week, he's got a lot of points to make up.
I think you would want to go one more lap. This is after lap 14, coming on to 15, that he has chosen to pit. And this just feels slightly too early, at least to me. He's not alone, though. Jason Duckworth comes into the pit lane just behind him. Of course, you saw the 2 late model stock cars that pitted. Johnny Rapp now comes into the pit lane from the Mission Barbecue, number 52 Dodge Challenger. So the only 2 cars that have...
first wasn't really any faster there.
Sean Roberts, both of which lead this race. And if Torrence is able to make this a one-stop race, but Millett isn't, right there, I think you have your strategy winner. And, can't be doing that, though. Torrence can't get ahead of himself. That is lighting up the rears big time out of turn 10. Might that be why we're seeing these drivers pit a little bit early? I don't know. But Millett did take a 4-tire stop. So another bit of interesting information. I think if you're Spencer Torrence, you have to go no tires. Whether or not you take 2 stops or 1 stop, you have to go no tires now. And he'll come into the pit lane this lap right at the exact halfway mark. 15 laps complete, 15 to go.
You win.
And this feels like the right time to pit.
Oh, man.
What happened?
In the pit box for Spencer Torrence. Let's see what he opts to do. It's going to be a 4-tire stop. I'm surprised. I know he's going for grip here, but you could have taken at least 10 or 11 seconds off that pit stop by simply not taking tires. That's extra time you have over Zach Millett. Sure, he's going to be closing in a second.
I still got 0x, though.
I don't know. You already have 8 seconds.
Trying not to get any X.
Tire strategy, but Spencer Torrence now taking a long time to leave. He has been in the pit lane for a while, and Zach Millett has...
Oh, first gear was quicker.
10 car. What is going on here? He's still in the pit lane. Is he serving a penalty, maybe?
Hope I don't get a cut there.
This is absolutely huge. And finally, Spencer Torrence is going to roll from the pit lane.
That was weird. What did that do to my tires?
1 minute and 1 second. A potential race win.
I didn't think there was dirt there.
For the 10 car. This is absolutely massive. Wow. Steve Singer now takes over the race lead outright. Zach Millett, though, in the distance, is closing in quickly. Sure enough, Zach Millett's going to be getting more penalties next week. And oh, Steve Singer wheel hops there to turn 10, opens the door for Kevin McCann. This is going to be interesting as they work onto the casino.
I think this is Super. Yeah, this is Zach up here. So unless we can get around them.
Top 3 on the racetrack, top 4 make that all in the same picture. Singer, McCann, Millett, your top 3.
Well, that was a big hit.
As they head into the World Champions, half the race down, half the race to go. This time by, it'll be 14 laps remaining at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and somewhere Zach Millett has got to find room to get by these 2 cars. But where is he going to find it? Granted, he does have some 12 seconds back to second place in the Supers. I think he could relax if he wanted to. It's a matter of the overall victory at this point.
So first gear there is worth about a 10th.
Comes Kevin McCann alongside the 6 car. Is he going to send it into turn 3? Absolutely, I would have too. Big pass there for the 33 car, but Steve Singer's not done yet. Back to the left side of the 33, he looks, gets squeezed over. That's through turn 5, now turn 6. The 33 defensive comes back over, and there's nothing that Steve Singer can do but watch Kevin McCann drive away now out of turn 7. He gets a bit loose there on corner exit.
Kevin took the lead.
Zach Millett. And that's going to make things even that much more difficult, as Millett is going to have a run in that much more highly powered super late model. Doesn't go for it yet. Probably will into turn 10 or out of turn 11.
Yeah.
A huge issue for Spencer Torrance has flipped this race.
We're definitely going to get held up either on this lap or the next lap.
Auto stocks are leading the way once again, but for how long?
Yeah.
Zach Millett is tiptoeing right now.
I think next lap.
Model on brand new Hoosier tires.
Because Zach, I think we're going to catch Zach at least that turn and maybe some turns before that one.
It's out of the way. Millett now on McCann is going to make that pass quickly, and Zach Millett back to overall race lead.
But Zach is smart enough and probably nice enough to let us go because he's not really racing anybody in the Supers.
Overall race leader for the first time tonight. Zach Millett out front.
Now he's in front of Kevin, so he might hold him up a little bit too. But yeah, if I can get a clean lap,
Thomas is going to go.
I mean, come out of the pits.
And Mark Thomas is now pitting. He just pitted 4 laps ago. So clearly did so when he was a little bit short on fuel and is coming in now just for a splash, but to keep rear weight on the car over the rear axle. And just to get this pit stop out of the way. So an early stop here for Mark Thomas in the 50. Thomas also now taking his faster pair as Spencer Torrance goes fast.
How much fuel do I take?
It's not going to help him now, I'm afraid. Waiting on Thomas to release. He's taking a 4-tire stop. I'm surprised by that. I would have taken a splash and dash. Well, back up to Jacob Elliott. He runs in the 3rd spot in class, chasing down Steve Singer. And Singer suddenly is looking a lot more weak in this race, falling back more and more from Kevin McCann. He is still a bit of second of the 33 car, but Steve is just having problems here and there. We saw him get loose and open the door in the first place. Wheel hop open the door for Kevin McCann and led to the pass. That said, it's not over as Mark Truxell is into the pit lane. And I don't think we have seen many more than 1 or 2 mistakes out of this entire field this evening, by the way. Props to this entire...
All right, I got 8 selected.
Once again. Because...
No, I'm scared. I'm going 9.
car in any barriers.
3, 2, 1.
Jacob Elliott into the pits. Brian McCann comes with him. Elliott has not used a fast repair yet. I wonder if he'll do so here. There's much damage on the right.
Oh, 9 should be plenty.
Of course, he probably doesn't know, but he does take it anyways.
All right,
well, that's a full tank anyway.
And it looks like McCann does the same.
I don't think I would have beat him anyway on 8.
Actually, well, my update on pit.
So we're good.
It's not listing either driver as having taken it as the amount of Elijah comes in. And sure enough, fast repair taken from Jacob Elliott. No fast repair taken from Brian McCann as he exits.
Damn, that sucks. That's worst case scenario.
And Torrance, of course, has power.
I was hoping to beat him out of that turn.
Right on by the 3 car. Taking over the 6th position overall. Zach Millett just had a bit of a moment, has lost the race lead to Kevin McCann. What happened here?
Got one on your right. Clear on the right.
That really sucked.
The 315 car had a mistake, a rare mistake. Just as I praise the entire field, it is our alien race leader who makes a slip up in the number 315 super late model. Wide there at turn 7, gets loose and just has to get out of the power and give up that time to Kevin McCann. Not even anything bad, hard to even consider it a mistake, but it sure enough was. We saw Millett take tires at that pit stop. I'm surprised he's having this many struggles as Steve Singer is into the pit lane. Clearly, most of the field counting on a 2-stop. There goes Eric Beadle, the 119.
Wow, that was a big jump.
Tucker is in as well, and going for tires, surprising. There you look at Steve Singer in car number 6, waiting to be released. It is going to be a longer gas and go, but a gas and go nonetheless. Just 12.85 seconds in the box for the number 6 car. No tires taken. I like that move. It brings him out right behind Brian McCann. This could be the race that we see Steve Singer finally show up.
Hell, I can't drive anyway.
It's been a long couple of weeks for him to get this season started.
Oh, I'm podium. Hell yeah. That's what I wanted anyway. My plan is to just podium all season. So Kevin will win,
Down Jacob Elliott here.
theoretically, and then have to do an EOL for next race. Jacob is 1 race behind.
I'm surprised by it.
So 3rd is not a bad spot for me.
Further ahead than this 10 car, but very, very close.
Yeah, Steve's 3 seconds behind me. All right.
We do now have just 10 laps to go here at Montreal. Zach Millett just behind Kevin McCann. And McCann is starting very similar lap times to Millett at this point. I don't see much advantage to 315 suddenly. Maybe it's just that he's saving his stuff. Throttling back because he knows that he doesn't need to push anything right now. He's got 13 seconds back to Sean Roberts. This is just the smart Zach.
I just got to not screw up this section of the track.
Race the end here, it looks like. Meanwhile, Jacob Elliott pushes on the back end of Spencer Torrance, trying to get back to that 10 car. Torrance, though, on by for good, it looks like.
Took it easier that way.
He is 20 seconds behind Zach Millett, but I don't think he's going to make that time up in just 10 laps. And problems? No. Pit stop here for Johnny Rapp.
Ooh, I really like how I took that turn there.
Torrance and makes the 10 car's life a little bit more difficult. And this is
I did a little bit differently.
Late model stocks, of course, they're trying to race. But do you use the mid-corner speed to be a nuisance to a super late model just because? I don't...
Damn, he got a cut. That's going to screw me.
Understand this. 2 cars that are in separate classes that just don't need to be fighting. Torrance is much faster than Jacob Elliott, not only...
What does SVG stand for?
And Elliott really just pushed to get back by thanks to his mid-corner speed. That's part of it, and the Super is faster in a lap just because of this stretch of racetrack here. But that's not to say that Spencer Torrance.
Oh, he's going to hold up Jacob here.
I think the 10 car is going to be a little less forgiving. Yeah, going on by that time through. I really question what we just saw, to be honest, between the 07 and 10 cars. That was.
Oh, I got you.
Questionable is a nice way to put it, in my opinion. I don't understand inter-class battling like this. Not only are these different cars with different strengths, they're in different battles, and they score points differently. The Super, of course, only scores points versus Super late models. The late model stocks only score points versus the late model stocks. I don't understand, because that move now from Jake...
It really likes to be driven easier through that section.
Further and brought Brian McCann closer to the 07. And now because they're...
Hell, I'll take a second.
They're both heated. Yeah, this is interesting. I know that probably sounds opinionated. Again, I understand.
Yeah, I think I gained about 2/10 there.
I understand.
But now I'm going to get held up.
To go by.
It's going to allow Steve to catch us a little bit.
Have about 2 seconds to drive.
Maybe Spencer will take. Spencer's one of the faster guys in the Super, so maybe he won't hold us up too much.
Goes back in by the time you get to turn 10, and then use the draft on the backstretch, and use that to pull back away from Brian McCann. Hopefully I don't upset too many people with that, but that's just the way I see this. I've seen a lot of different kinds of racing. That said, I don't know everything, certainly, but this just seems a little bit counterintuitive to me. All this said, Zach Millett has now lost 4 seconds to Kevin McCann, and I can't tell if it's intentional or happenstance for the 350.
I think both tires were off the ground.
Of the 33, but it looks like Kevin McCann might be winning overall this evening in Montreal. And see, there you go. All it took was that extra lap. All it took was for the 10 car to exit turn 10 ahead of the 07. And it's no longer a problem for Jacob Elliott. That was all it took. Now, when two classes are fighting for the same points on the racetrack as we see in the North American Racing League, I understand it, because that, while yes, they're classified differently in their own standings, there are class formats where Jacob Elliott would have been racing the 10 car there for a point, and I understand that entirely in that case. That is
Jacob's still fast.
When you're racing for separate points, I really don't.
Is that another Super?
Don't understand it. And now I will say Spencer Torrance just lost a lot of time in those twisty bits. Elliott closes back in a little bit, but let's see how this kind of evolves. This is now turns 8 and 9.
Eric, I can't see the last name. I don't recognize the name.
Torrance is going to pull back away. It's a product of these cars being a little bit different, but still very, very close.
Little wheel hop there messed me up.
Differently built chassis, but they follow the same formula of 2-frame chassis, big motor, 4 gears, go rip. And again, I will say, Jacob Elliott is doing a fantastic job. He is running great lap times, doing a great job behind the wheel of his late model stock car as Kevin McCann comes into the pit lane. I don't want to just make it sound like I'm just dragging on Jake, but I think they're just...
That Super, they're not racing for position, so hopefully they'll get it figured out.
Thankfully, I'll leave it with this passing thought that thankfully it hasn't caused a crash.
And then this one guy will let us by.
Okay, and that'll probably
going to let Jacob by, then hold me up.
Before we close this out, on a better note, I do want to go through the field and look at some of these race cars. There are some grand paint schemes in this field that we don't get to talk all about. One of them being Eddie Rose, who is just running a clean race on his own back here.
Or not.
Out of the way of the leaders when they've lapped him. So props here to Eddie in the 88 car. He is last. You can't skip over that part of his race, but he is currently on the lead lap and just minding his own business. Props to Eddie keeping the car in the race.
Well, that worked out.
Looking beautiful, by the way, in that 88 car. Then a little ways up the road, you've got Joe Tucker. We've seen a bit of that Smith & Wesson 13 car. Good to see him still on the racetrack, still moving along. But you can tell he is struggling with that car this evening. A lot of these drivers have.
Hey, Repeat, what's up?
There's something to be said for this Super in general, this Super late model class. It is difficult. Here you have a look at Eric Beadle in the 119 car, recently back onto the racetrack and recently passed as well. A little further up the road, how about Mark Truxell in the 5 car?
Mark, is that Mark Thomas or Truxell?
Mark Truxell allows the 10 as much as to the line. I think there are some cars one lap down. Unfortunately, timing and scoring is not picking them up on my screen correctly, but there are some cars lap down, including Eddie Rose. However,
I know, right? I got my force feedback too high. My wrists are hurting.
Great paint scheme. Has one this evening. Troy Radford, same deal. I like the orange trim and the orange roll bars. Johnny Rapp, I really love this wrap, if you will, particularly the Dodge Challenger decals. I do also like that green number, the green trim down on the bottom of the nose there as he blows turn 10 a little bit, but that's okay. I think we've seen about most of the field from here. Mark Thomas and the nice chrome. And
white knuckling this thing.
Jason Duckworth with his black and white.
About to see a wreck.
On the side of his car. Steve Singer, maybe the greatest paint team in the league history, but we'll leave that one to be decided as he works to pass.
This is going to be a little interesting here.
And Kevin McCann, Sean Roberts are fighting. This is more inter-class fighting, but I think that was a little bit more straightforward. As Kevin McCann loses that spot. Now Sean Roberts blows 8 and 9, and I think that again.
All right.
That's reasonable. The late model stock to try and take.
Can't see my braking point here.
If the Super makes a big mistake like that, all right, go for it. But you see what happens. Easily, Sean Roberts gets back in front of the 33 car. Is going to have a run here out of turn 10.
I erred on the caution of safety.
And if he can get the power down, he'll have a run anyways. That was a little bit scary for a moment. Jacob Elliott does have company from Brian McCann, by the way. That is what Jake was trying to avoid, and I understand certainly the urgency in mind, as Brian McCann now is all over the back end of the 07 car. So there was a reason as to why Jacob wanted to fight. I just think it needed to be carried out differently. As we're now within 5 laps to go for these two drivers, and Brian could get there. Into turn 1, heavy on the brakes, and we haven't really seen a whole lap of this.
It'd be tough to pull a pass off on him.
Board here with Brian McCann as he gets it done, chasing the 07 car.
My only hope would be if he made a mistake.
Making it more and more difficult to see into this corner, but thankfully the trees alongside the riverbank are helping. Turn 3 curving, rather usable. Turn 4, sure. Turn 5, kind of a flick of the wrist. We've got to make sure not to overdrive 5.
The line between making around a turn and sending it off the turn is very fine.
Back in on Spencer Torrance, and this could be a problem again for Jacob Elliott. Spencer Torrance has been put
26 old lap tires.
It was a detour from that as Elliott and McCann were actually a couple of tenths faster than the number 10. Zach Moore, though, now turning 1.
My first race ever on this track.
Even Sean Roberts is now closing on 315. I think Zach is holding something back.
Spencer slowing down in the Super is going to make it a little interesting.
Unless he took less fuel, which is
what was it, 4 to go?
Underfueled the car and is trying to throttle back. We'll watch this fight. Actually, let's just listen in. Let's take this opportunity to listen into the 315. Yep, he's safe. Well, there you go. I think again, that proves why I think Spencer Torrance needed to do something a little bit different there on the pit stop. Although Spencer is closing, he's only 12 seconds back with 4 laps to go. I don't think he's going to make up 3 seconds per lap, but he's certainly going to give it a shot as Kevin McCann fights here with Sean Roberts. Again, interclass fighting. I feel like this is slowing them both down, though. This is the problem. And this might be a little bit different. I think this is going to be reverse, where I think Kevin McCann has been far more consistent. Sean Roberts has used the Super's power to get back by him.
They got downshift, and that's about it.
Faster car, maybe, to slow down, right? But you know what? As much as I go on and on about this dynamic, that is what is but making this series that much more interesting and compelling. Is we have this car and class difference, and we're going to
caught the curb bat on that one. Spencer's going to hold him up. We're still looking all right.
How these two cars interact, how these two classes interact, the battles between them. I mean, here comes Jacob Elliott again. Torrance just got in a little bit deep on the brakes. Now into turn 10, you see the 10 is kind of pulled back away. He's going to keep it nice and tidy down to the curving here. And we'll drive back away from the 07 out of turn 11.
Yeah, Spencer keeps slowing down.
Torrance, by the way, 12 seconds behind.
2 laps is going to bunch us up.
As Millet takes the 3 to go signal, this time by from the flag stand. Clutch in probably right about now for turn 1. Yep, before the start-finish line. Wow. Meanwhile, onto the front stretch come Kevin McCann and Sean Roberts. Sure enough, Sean Roberts has throttled back a little bit. And we have some takers on the pit lane. Leonardo Elijah and Eddie Rose into the pits.
I might have to send it.
Torrance is closing in on Sean Roberts. And, man, if Jacob Elliott wasn't already frustrated with the 10 car and this late model stock versus super late model fight.
Position's better than following somebody.
I think, because when Torrance gets there, it's going to be an awkward fight, I think. Joe Tucker is slow. Problems for the 13 car. He gets back going. And Eddie Rose will leave the pit lane now as Tucker lights up the rears once more. Once again, turns 6 and 7. The 07 closes
Got a
in.
slow car on the way.
Oh, I slid in that turn bad.
Links a little bit, but has plenty of time back into turns 8 and 9. Chasing the rear of the car through 8 and 9, but staying a little further ahead. And here we go, fight for second in super late models. Here comes Jacob Elliott. This is going to get difficult. Brian McCann is closing.
Right.
Sean Roberts has just been passed for second in class. Track Jacob Elliott trying to.
I tried to put a nose in, it did not work.
That is for
oh, that's
McCann got back to his right rear.
That got us off of the leaders a little bit, so that may have actually hurt us there.
Is we don't know if these guys have to pit yet. It looks like they're good to go. I don't recall why Steve Singer is behind these guys. If there even is a reason, but he's 20 seconds back. He must have had a huge mistake at some point. 8 seconds back, rather.
If I wouldn't have done that, we would have been more on those 2 cars holding us up.
Spencer Torrance has cleared the 66. I don't think he'll be making up 9 seconds in these last 2 laps, though. Unless Zach Millett.
Slight strategy mistake on my part.
Meanwhile, here's Kevin McCann, and the number 33. He is clearly away to a race victory this evening.
Good camera time, though.
He's good on fuel. Hit it 5 laps ago. Something had to have happened to Steve Singer while we were checking into the whole debacle between late model stock and super late model.
All clear, all clear.
Let's see, here he was just ahead of trucks.
All right, we're too far away from Spencer to hold up Jacob now, unfortunately.
That's where he passed Truxell. This is ahead of
the car coming up quick.
Oh, he's mirror driving. Can I get a run here?
So excuse me.
He's going to block.
Car on your right. Stay left.
Wow, I guess he's been back there for a while. I don't know how he even ended up in this position.
Clear on the right.
Cannot get in the throttle. Oh, I thought I could under him.
As we go back up to our race leaders, Jacob Elliott, Kevin McCann, Brian McCann rather. I'm going to confuse those 2 all season long. But Brian McCann working here on Jacob Elliott as for second in class as Zach Millett exits the wall of champions. 1 lap to go in Canada for these drivers.
Car on your left.
Spencer now 10 seconds back, and Millett has turned up the wick once again. He must be good on fuel.
That solves that race.
Presented by Whiplash Simcams. Sean Roberts in trouble. Spins coming into the pit lane in turn 13. And Roberts will come into the pits, and I'm not really sure why.
I heard my spotter. I heard my spotter say, faster car coming up behind you, and I was like, what?
Well, second in class.
And then I saw in my mirror just a car flying.
Just behind. Brian McCann now has fallen back.
Nah, I'm not too mad.
Trouble there, including Sean Roberts.
I mean, yeah, it sucks, but I've wrecked him before, so I guess you could look at it as payback.
Yeah, something happened.
I don't think it's payback though.
At some point in this race to move him back.
I did wreck him though, not intentionally, but the difference between late and super.
Actually gives the spot back at the Jacob.
But I think right there he just made a mistake.
Makes a mistake. It looks like through 6 and 7.
We'll go back and look at on the replay. Maybe he was trying to watch us race and was so excited, missed his break point.
Zach Millett down the casino straight for the final time this evening. Started from the pit lane.
That would have been a hell of a last lap, though, between me and Jacob.
Pitted for tires once. Thought he was a bit short on fuel. Sure enough, he saved. He gave up time. But it was all in plan for him to go.
I'm just glad I saw that coming up on my mirror and was able to dodge it.
Victory lane checkered.
Because if I turned in there and not saw him, I would have been spun around, and then Steve would have got third.
And back to victory lane for Kevin. Jacob Elliott out of the
got podium though, so
take second place this evening, matching.
We're good on that.
Lime Rock last time out. Spencer Torrance in his first start.
I may have got a 1X out of it.
And Brian McCann will take over the overall top 5, third place in late model stock cars as the rest of the field comes on through.
It was the next lap. Thanks, Pete. Back it up a little here. Let's go on board with
this evening at Circuit Jules Villeneuve. Thanks for joining us at Pit Stop TV.
The number, can't see the number on my screen.
A little bit
Let me close that real quick.
At a time or two, I'm sure. I might have differing opinions to these drivers. That's okay. Eddie Rose, though, will be our final car to finish up this race in Montreal in the 16th position. A clean race car, though. Very, very clean.
That's what he was doing. He was watching us race.
Across the line and finishes.
Wait a minute. That's.
Look at our overall race results.
What?
Zach Miller, of course, with the race win from pit lane. For that win penalty, best Kevin McCann and everybody else by plenty of
hold on. I take back my intentional message that I had before this. What?
And a penalty for Johnny Rapp.
He lets off and coast and then hits the brake right there.
Been dropped from the middle of the field, I think in the top 10. You saw it change there quickly in the unofficial results screen. Johnny Rapp has been dropped to 15th overall, last in class. And I don't know what for. I'd imagine for
no, I don't think that was accident. Unless he had a mechanical issue with his brake that got solved right before his car hit me.
You see the rest there. Spencer Torrance hits first.
Coasting, brake.
Steve Singer, not sure what happened there still for the 6th car. He goes 6th. John
Something about that ain't right.
Jason Duckworth 8th. Mark Thomas, Troy Radford in the top 10 overall. Ahead of Mark Truxell, Leonardo Elijah, Eric Beadle, Joe Tucker.
Yeah, you can see, you can literally see his nosedive deep.
Once again, Zach Millett proves himself to be a little bit of an alien here in the Noble Can-Am Series, going back to victory lane for the 3rd time consecutively. Zach, do you even know what the win penalty is next week?
Man, I don't know. Can it be any worse?
Well, it definitely worked against you, and for a little bit in the mid portion of the race during pit.
Yeah, right there.
Like maybe
hold on.
Spencer had something.
You can see off his nose.
Where were you?
He's coasting because you can hear the engine and his nose dip down a little bit right here.
Man, I knew he was fast.
And then his nose.
It all comes down to how much tire.
This is where he started braking.
My first 3 laps. I'm glad I wasn't on camera very much because it was awful, and I pretty much killed my tires right off the bat. But I think it was his race to win, especially when he stretched it that extra lap for gas. I don't know how he did it, but we were pretty much put ourselves.
Which was entirely too late.
To start and had to conserve at least about 10 laps on that final stint.
Why don't you say that you don't know how he did it? And I know why you say you don't know how he did it, but you did it in that last run. How much saving did it require? Because we noticed a couple of times you were putting the clutch in before the start-finish line for turn 1.
Nah.
How diligent did you have to be?
This is the one where I tried. No?
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah. See, I'd lock my front up. If I didn't lock my front up,
faster, on like the infield and the tighter turns, and the only time you can really
I could have potentially got beside him, but he would have been on outside, so he would have been preferred line.
We had to
we may have come off the.
By there.
Then I got back into the throttle.
We let
a little throttle happy there.
And it's just tough. It's tough saving fuel in these things because you just never.
We may have come off that turn side by side if I didn't lock the front up.
Stats anyway. I've got race labs up, but
that looks intentional on my part. Damn, that looks a whole lot worse on the replay.
So how much of a strategy point do you think this becomes? Saving fuel to go that extra lap?
Glad I didn't wreck him.
and I'm starting to think it's everything. It really is. I mean,
where'd I get on the throttle at?
Pretty important, but
I started sliding the rear here. Oh, I hit him the same time.
Pretty far with it, so we're gonna have to do some more practice with the strategy side of things.
Well, it'll certainly be difficult to save gas next week at Watkins Glen. That full throttle course, or so it seems, is going to be fun to watch that take place. Zach, best of luck in race number 4, starting from, I'm sure, outside of the zip code, maybe the next state.
It was close, and if I would have spun him,
the race win again. We'll see you next time out.
It would have looked bad on my part, but we didn't.
Zach Millett overcomes the win penalty and wins this evening at Montreal.
I thought,
of course, that means
I probably had the steering wheel turned too much here, and I thought I could still get off the corner pretty good.
Overall race win, but
the nose on these things are a mile long.
Kevin, a fantastic performance for you in class. There were a couple of battles early that you had to go through, but you've got a few laps led this evening, 4 in total.
Lap 27.
Overall, and the whole day has just got to feel like a big success.
Yeah, really a perfect race. Just going into it, just thinking, don't make any mistakes.
My car didn't look like it had too much damage, though.
Of course.
Considering how hard I hit those 2 walls.
I just wanted
I can't see any damage.
I got to start out front, and yeah, just navigated the traffic.
I never took a quick repair.
A bit tricky with some of the super late models. Overall, their lap time, after they had a few laps on their tires, they were slower, but they were quicker on the straights. So really had to be strategic about where you call.
Man, I must have gave up 10-15 seconds trying to nurse it home. It was awful.
Get around them.
Yeah,
because,
it was kind of rough.
Ultimately holding you up a little bit. So, yeah, I just don't think it could have went any better. Good race.
Of course, looking forward to Watkins Glen next week. Things are going to be very, very different. We go from what was already kind of NASCAR,
good race, Jacob.
Street course, if you want to say.
Yeah, it was a good run. Sorry about Sean.
I
mean, he was in my way a bunch of times.
Get away from an oval road course in Watkins Glen.
He took me out in the last little corner there.
Fast on throttle all the time. It's going to be difficult to save fuel.
My spotter was like, "Oh, there just went Brian." Sean took him out. Like, damn.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. These cars don't draft.
And I think this lap before that almost took you out.
Passing, I
think,
is going.
He was like, "Boy, he's sending it in like 12 cars deep."
It's like a model or something.
If he goes there, I'm not going to follow him.
On courses this big, so it's really hard to get a run on a guy.
Yeah, those lappers were pretty deadly this race.
If he's been a 10th or 2.
And I had a guy jacking with me on the start.
I think you're gonna have to put the bumper to him, honestly.
He slowed way up, and I was nowhere near the pack when it took off.
Taking anybody out.
So tonight's late model stock race winner, expecting some visible racing next week at Watkins Glen. Kevin, good to talk to you as always. Congratulations on the class race win. Hopefully we're talking to you maybe from overall victory lane next week at Watkins Glen.
I appreciate it.
Kevin McCann this evening with some big time success behind the wheel of the 33 car. We'll move on down to the guy who goes.
How do you like having to start in the back next race, Kevin?
I've criticized the most this evening, Jacob Elliott. It's all a good day's work, but Jacob, you had some tumultuous times. First off, I know I was very critical of the battle between you and Spencer Torrance, but I do want to hear your side of things, and especially
is that the next
dynamic between the late model stock and the super.
I love.
On the
I like that track.
Can't be easy.
Our cars have, I don't know what the super late models are like, but we have there's no draft.
It's tough because
in
I
our
get the power down a lot better than they can.
So
I'm right on his rear bumper.
You're not going to be getting a draft down the long straights and stuff.
I got to also
you're
catch
just
the guy
going to
in
have to
front
beat
of
them on
him,
corner speed.
The race leader, so it's tough.
Yeah,
but
these cars are so gripped up. I don't know.
It is racing, especially with this particular dynamic, and as
I appreciate you not doing it to me there, Kevin. I tried like hell to kind of get off a different line and not be in your way.
No, I appreciate you. You were perfect. There was one guy out there though with about 5 to go.
It might be the most difficult to navigate next week potentially at Watkins Glen. It's a big unknown. Long straightaways, but also some very grip-demanding corners. How do you attack
me on the straights? Even though. If he just looked at the lap times, I was going quicker and
maybe get way off pace.
He almost did it one too many times. I gave him
those supers and those
gave him 2 good shoves, and I think he got the picture.
They were definitely pretty deadly this race.
The third one.
We saw Steve Singer very, very early in this race take a splash and dash. Do you think
one could argue you needed to be held up though?
Yeah, that was actually on the board.
Well, I wasn't. I had to make a decision. I wasn't going to lose the race because of that. Because if I backed off and ran his lap times, Jacob was going to catch me within like 1 or 2 to go.
Tires left sides because honestly, it only added about a half second to the pit, and it really paid off in the long run.
There you go, Jacob Elliott expecting a bit of a strategy race next week at Watkins Glen. Feels fair to say for sure.
Man, y'all got lucky.
Jacob, a race win last week, a second place this week. You're off to a great start in the series. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, and I had to stretch that.
See you guys next week.
That was really bad. I was running like 46 and 47
this evening at Montreal. And Spencer Torrance has actually declined an interview this evening. You see him there in the foreground.
How big was it?
A member of Firelight Esports.
I didn't even look. I was trying not to look because I know he got a pit road penalty, and that was the game changer.
In his own words, well,
I would have been screwed without that.
We'll just leave it at that.
Was it Torrance
for Card 10 and not good at victory lane?
Yeah, pit road penalty.
Yeah, for him to still go top 5 second place in class. And I want to commend Spencer for a really
those bumps on the entry to pit were
he feels
I
like
wheel hopped a little bit there.
I still feel like he gave himself ample opportunity early in this race to take the race win, potentially away from these strongest.
I got around you there toward the end, and I drifted that whole turn. Man, that was pucker factor 9,000.
Yeah, you did.
What's the
whole parts of the chicane you drifted. I was like, you came in. I saw your back tires lock up. I'm like, oh shit.
Do one thing and it works, or do the other thing.
You hung on to it. That was sick.
It's part of it.
What lap was that?
That said, we can look ahead to the rest of this season this evening, and Watkins Glen next up. It is going to be a really, really difficult challenge for these drivers. I don't know yet how these cars are going to react in this kind of setting. I think you could take late model stocks around there and have a pretty solid race. You take super late models there and have a pretty solid race, but put the two together, and it's going to be a very interesting dynamic, especially dependent on the track layout. I'm actually going to go through my messages with Steve Singer because I don't recall exactly which layout it is.
Yeah,
I'm going to go remind myself
right after I got around
before I even get to it.
I don't know what turn that is.
If it is the boot or the non-boot layout, and that I think is
Kevin and Brian. Did you guys take tires?
On next week's race, because if it is the
I thought about it the first stint. I don't know what I did. I guess I overheated or something.
It's the cup layout. I just checked. It is the cup layout of Watkins Glen next week,
seconds off,
which is going to be so much faster.
Oh wow, do we have
and so much more? I think in the hands of the super late model, but also
let them cool down a little bit.
That every corner, really, I think, aside from maybe the S's, and even the S's, I think with this tire wear on the super late model is probably going.
I'm sure you saw me take lefts both times.
A late model stock car, and of course,
yeah.
every corner.
I guess it was Brian that was behind me.
Much more important for the corner
took left both
because
times.
if you mess up one corner, if you're slow in one corner, that's going to hurt your run into the next, and it is really going to prioritize mid-corner speed, which.
When I was practicing, it felt like I got really understeery in the right.
But if you
in the right-handers.
Up in turn
so then I went with just did the left strategy. And I was going to do lefts one stop and rights the next.
That is your whole first half of your lap gone. And if I think you can give a little bit of time sometimes in the bus
Glen
stop
is pretty much all right.
If you mess up in the
corner,
carousel, coming back out of turn
it'll be interesting.
Towards turn 6 on that back stretch.
I just need to get away from these
if you will.
back markers.
Again, a really speed-dependent part of racetrack that if you give up a tenth, it becomes.
All right, gents, I'm hopping off. I'll catch you guys around.
So a really difficult racetrack for these supers next week. It's going to be interesting to see how they can manage that tire wear, especially on the left side.
Are they doing interviews?
That said, we can take a look at our upcoming broadcast as a whole here at Pit Stop TV.
They're just interviewing the winner.
Evening, we go to Martinsville Speedway, July 10th, with Elite Performance Industries for Short Track Mondays, a new program with them as we pick up coverage of Advanced Legends Racing going to Martinsville next week, tomorrow night.
I thought you were going to get him
then on to some other short tracks throughout the course of July. Tuesday
go back and watch it. Sean, look at his last name, took me out. No, he didn't get in my way. He took me out.
Late model stocks on track on a road course.
Last lap before the last lap.
That's the one that that's the one I had to put the bumper to.
We got around him and was racing, me and Jacob. And then the last little left right, he was coming down that straightaway and just creamed me.
Jesus. Just didn't hit the brakes.
Yeah, it's like he's like he hit the clutch instead of the brake.
Brian, who ran you over?
Sean.
Oh, the 66 car?
Roberts. Yeah.
Is that getting in that last chicane late in the race?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured something happened. I saw a bunch of smoke.
I don't know. Looking from his point of view, it just looks like he just never hit the brake pedal until it was way too late.
he was like, "Oh man, this is a good battle up ahead of me. I'm gonna watch it." Oh shit!
That's what I was thinking. I was wondering if he was just looking at us and missed his breaking point. Because we were racing 29.
Couple to go.
End of lap 29.
Damn, that was great at the end. Shit.
Yeah, I got excited. I'm like, shit, maybe I'll get a third place out of this.
I don't know how it didn't spin me.
I'm wore out, man.
Yeah.
Sweat right through my shirt.
All right. Well, I am out, fellas. See ya.
There you go.
Later, man.
See you next week.
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye, TV world.